why don't we do what we can to make the good thrive and basically outrun the pests that we spend chemicals and thousands of dollars trying to kill these things a lot of times, rather than create a way to make the good products, the good grasses thrive in our fields and our pastures. So anyways, we applied that this year. I got together two of our neighbors. We put on about 1,250 acres between the three of us, a mixture of dry land and irrigated, not knowing any idea what our results would be, even if we would have results in this first year. And we've been in a 3-year drought. We were severely drought stressed through the winter, and then we end up getting a late freeze. And I was like, well, perfect. We just made this investment, trying to do a trial, and we're going to get beat up just because of environmental conditions, low moisture, and then that late freeze that really put a smack on things. So anyways, is the crop starts growing, I'm just seeing visibly in our irrigated parts, particularly more foliage, more leaf count on the stems. And so as that keeps progressing through the spring, our irrigated fields that had the Rhyzogreen did not have any of the frost damage on any of our neighbors, or the three of us. Now, our upper land stuff did have frost damage, but the irrigated did not. And so maybe it wasn't as stressed being that it was irrigated acres. So anyways, as that keeps going, so we end up taking our cutting on our first cutting, and this stuff is the thickest hay I've ever had in my life. And it produced at least 3 ton, maybe 3.5 ton. And normally we get 2 ton an acre. And I'm kind of a guy that God gives me what he gives me, and I don't put in, thousands of dollars of fertilizer and spraying this chemical and that chemical. I try to manage my soils to maximize the return on my ranch without a lot of inputs. But anyways, with hay at $250 a ton, this is the year I said, well, if I'm going to be wrong and make an investment, let's make this one the year to do it. So anyway, so we have 3 to 3.5 ton production. If we're going to say that our hay is worth 250, do we want to go to that slide for everybody? So I want to be conservative and not just make it look like I'm just totally blowing smoke. If I said that we did 3.5 or 4 ton, normally we're 2, but so we're going to use 3 ton value. And I was 100% correct on that, and I really believe it's about 3.5. So if we value that $250 a ton, the cost of our Rhyzogreen to apply it was $28 an acre. Okay, so we take that off our $250 a ton, that leaves us $222. It cost me to hire the guys to put the stuff on, $15 an acre. And so the net profit per acre then was $207 an acre profit, over what I would normally get. If I was fertilizing, it'd probably take about $125 an acre of dry phos and nitrogen put on there. But that's a big deal. And if hay is $80 a ton, it changes the numbers around, right? But at $250 a ton, that starts being a big thing. Same thing as corn. If corn's $3 compared to corn at $7, getting 20 more bushels is great, but 20 bushels at $3, 60, whereas 20 more bushel at $7 is 140. So it starts being very big dollars per acre. Our upper land and dry land, because it got froze hard, I don't know. We're just cutting some grass hay right now, and it looks to be about a time and a half of our normal on our grass hay. So when other guys are only getting about half an acre a ton, which sounds pathetic, but that's legit what we're getting, we're probably doing at least a ton an acre on that dry land. So double of what looks like to be normal for this year in the area. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of my results. And like I said, I'm not a farmer, and you could go start asking me a whole bunch of particular questions about equipment and this and that thing. And I don't know one thing about that, but I do know what results are. I do know what my normal is on our place. One of my friends on his pivot, he normally puts up 240 bales, and he put 360 this year. with the Rhyzogreen. So he did roughly the exact same results. My other buddy, he cut his a little bit later, and he is just baling it right now. So we'll see what he is. But if we get 3 of us across the board, all in the same county, first time results at 30% kind of across the board on forage crops. So kind of interesting, kind of exciting, and yeah, that's what I've got.
Thank you, Boone. I appreciate your numbers. They come across very clear, and it's really compelling. I call it a no-brainer. But just to be the pessimist, let's say hay was $80 a ton, and so that's then you got an extra ton. So you're 80 minus 28 minus 15. That's your Rhyzogreen and your application costs. You're still netting 37.
Correct.
So it's worse, but it's not terrible.
And I've never seen anybody go broke, at least being positive. I've seen a lot of people go broke the other way, but not being positive. never go down making a profit. So.